All right, guys, welcome to Wide Awake News Radio. Charlie McGrath on this 27th day of March, Wednesday, and I'm going to apologize right now. My voice is a little choppy. I did the program last night, then I did an hour plus with Aaron from Storm Clouds Gathering, and I'm extremely hoarse. Fortunately for me, I have two great guests tonight. Hour number one is going to be Deborah Tavarres joining us again. And she's bursting at the seams to share information. And you know what? Since the last time she was on here, we're going to talk about this NASA war document here in just a minute. But since the last time we were on, and I told everybody Monday that the theme for this week is going to be a game changer. And I'm pounding this drum hard and pay attention. Pay attention to what we talk about tonight. Pay attention to what I'm about to tell you, because we have seen the paradigm shift. We've seen the end of the soft tyranny and the implementation of hard tyranny. I did an RT interview today, and it was all on Cyprus. Once again, Cyprus and the people getting screwed over in Cyprus. Regardless of what you think about the bailout deal and the $100,000 plus accounts. Listen, the only reason why on the Cyprus deal, and for those of you who don't know, the bailout deal is simple. Any accounts that are in the number 2 bank, Laiki Bank, LAIKI Bank, the second largest bank in Cyprus, that bank is going to become a bad bank. All the funds, all the accounts of 100,000 or less are going to get shifted to the number 1 bank, the Bank of Cyprus, and all accounts that are 100,000 plus euros are going to be basically they're just going to get hammered. Now, the mainstream media, the business media, the powers that be are selling this as the kinder, gentler New World Order. Because it was a week ago they said they were going to steal 6 to 10% of everybody's. Now they're saying, well, we're for the little people, so 100,000 or less, and we're not going to touch it. But understand, they failed because the Parliament of Cyprus said, no, you're not going to do this. They failed, so they went with Plan B, which is this automatic 40% haircut on 100,000 plus, because Parliament doesn't have to vote on it, because Parliament doesn't have to say yes to it. They can automatically do this through the tenets of the Trioca. The collusion between the EU, the IMF, and the European Central Bank. They can implement these kind of cuts without any representation. That is the key. No representation whatsoever. So I'm going to bring Deborah on now, but I'm telling you guys to think, watch, pay attention to the next 24, 48 hours. In about 5 hours' time, the banks in Cyprus open. Kind of. Call it open. They're paying lip service to the word open. But in reality, you can only take out 300 euros. In reality, you're a prisoner because you can't take any money on vacation with you if it's over 3,000 euros. If you're in Cyprus and you have a family member that you want to send money to, you can't do it. See, this is, and people are probably getting tired of hearing about this in the chat room on the program because it's been every night. But I am adamant, and I believe with all my heart that we've seen this trigger event occur where they're going directly after people's money. Now, you might think I'm whipping a dead horse here, but this is different. This is different than what we've seen in the past. All right, Deborah, welcome back to Wide Awake News Radio. You heard what I said about Cyprus. You said something to me that I think was very appropriate before the program about how we're the core of this wheel, this New World Order wheel, and all these spokes are around us. So many things happening at once. But I do believe that we've seen a switch from financial future theft until financial right now theft. Go ahead.
Well, there's absolutely no question. We are being looted globally right now, and America is in the crosshairs. In fact, I just recently attended Al Gore's talk about his new book, The Future, and he talks about how America's middle class will absolutely be disintegrated. It will not reappear. The jobs that were being promised to come back are not. Everything is being shipped offshore, as we know, and there's going to be a global brain, and people are going to be replaced by artificial intelligence, robots and cyborgs. And this is the direction of this. Yes, They're ripping off our bank accounts. They're looting us. They're also killing off humanity as we know it. This is the bigger plan. We're being dumped on by spray every single day from overhead, poisoned in every unimaginable way. I mean, we've got GMOs. California lost that vote for GMOs? I don't think so. And then we know that the Monsanto, the Protection Act was just slipped into the budget resolution and signed, which was Section 735 yesterday by Obama. So we are being looted and polluted and poisoned on every single level. And while we're still able to think and talk, we must wake up as many people as possible. I often say, in a time of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. And we know that George Orwell said that. But we must tell the truth, and we must live in right conduct. And that is what we must do right now. Our days are here. Our futures for our grandchildren, if there's any, because this is such a massive, massive takedown. In fact, I wanted to share a few things. I just traveled across a number of states, and in that process, I opted out of the TSA backscatter radiation program that they've got assaulting all people that travel by plane. And I want to tell you that I have a letter right in front of me right now that's posted on our websites, of which I'll give you right now also.
Go ahead.
We're running a number of websites. One is stopthecrime.net, refusesmartmeters.com, which links to its sister site, smartmetersmurder.com. We also have toxicsky.org and toxicdrinkingwater.org. And I'm holding in my hand right now a letter from the University of San Francisco dated April of 2010, which is on our site, Stop the Crime. And it was to John Holdren, Assistant to the President for Science and Technology. And it was on the behalf of 4 reputable doctors out of that university, pleading with the administration to hold off on the X-ray backscatter program through the airports, telling them all of the exposure detriments, the cancer, all of the other ways in which they would injure the American population on the basis of terrorism. They said that actually the terrorism was from the radiating backscatter devices that we're forced to walk through unless you opt out. And so during traveling, if I saw 3 people opt out, that was it. Everyone else sheepily walked through and got radiated. And this is not recoverable. When you get hit with this type of radiation, this letter on my site, I refer everyone to go to it, copy it, and take it with you when you travel. Remind yourselves and other people that you're standing with online not to walk through that. It is just unbelievable to see how many people are complying with what is coming down. That's the least of our problems, of course. We know that I was looking at some newspapers as we were traveling too, and right in our faces, they say this. This is in the Wall Street Journal, dated March the 23rd. It says the CIA expands the role in Syria fight. Well, we know that. When you look at what how we've been involved overseas, go to and look at the Phoenix Project, and essentially, this is the basis for our homeland security. And also, look at China's black jails. This is, again, China's black jails. And what you will find is horrific. We're shifting everything over to China. It is already slave labor.
No doubt. Hold on, Deborah. Hold on one sec. We're going to take our first break, and we'll take it up with China slave labor. Interestingly enough, I'm going there in 3 days. We'll chat about that when we come back. Hang tight. Guys, welcome back to Wide Awake News Radio. Charlie McGrath joined by Deborah Tavarres. If you want to join us in chat, wideawakenews.com. Click on the Wide Awake Radio microphone. I will tell you now. I had I had a very, I'm not going to give out names. I'm going to try to keep this very generic. A person that I care a lot about get a hold of me very, very upset with all the troll activity in the chat room. And to be honest, guys, I know we have monitors in there that are in there every night on the second hour, but ever since we went to 2 hours, I don't know if we have good monitor present in that first hour. And I'm in there about, usually I'm trying to interact with our guests, and I'm in there about maybe 40% of the time somewhere in that neighborhood during the program. But I'm done with it. I mean, if you're in there trolling around, go somewhere else. I don't have time for this. This room doesn't have time for it.
So our lives don't have time for that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So just let me make this quick announcement. I will pick somebody who's in here, a couple people who are in here every night for the first hour. You'll be contacted by me or Karen or Bonnie to be monitors in the chat. Take out the trash. As Deborah said and I said, I don't have time for it. I just, there's so many things happening so quick. If you're looking for infotainment, go somewhere else. Because I believe we're talking about things that are critical to our future. Go ahead, Deborah.
Well, there's absolutely no question, and I know we were talking about the China black jails before we went to break, and I just want to have everyone go and search China, the secret black jails, and how they hide severe civil rights abuses. There are no rights in China. They scoop people off the street that dissent, that come to, like, for example, Tiananmen Square to redress grievances. They're picked up off the streets and they're put into houses that are undisclosed and unmarked, held at length without any type of course, there's no civil rights at all. But this is exactly what the NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act, this is an example of what that looks like in China. Once it rolls out here, which it is, people are disappearing. But look at the China black jails. It is absolutely horrific how these people are tortured and raped and murdered and abused. And the lucky ones that are able to get out talk about just horrific abuses. And this is all set up through the legal system or through the government. And it's a growing industry. The government makes money on this, just like our prison industrial complex is going to enslave us by putting us in lengthy prison sentences here in the United States. This is all for slave labor. That's what this is all about. And I can say to you that the list is long that I'm going to refer you to check out because we don't have a lot of time on the program, Charlie.
You got the whole hour. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want people to take a look at many of the things that are occurring right now. You can also Google executions in China. It's harsh to look at, but we need to know what this looks like because this is global tyranny. This is a global takedown. War has been declared on the global community of all people, and everything, as you said, is accelerating. And we have to commit, every single one of us, to get this information out. We are the media. If you are driving around in a car and you do not have large bumper stickers referring people to websites with top concerns, you are driving around in silence. We can no longer be silent. Remember the quote by Martin Luther King, "In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends." I can't underscore that enough right now. We are in a fight, a battle of information that absolutely will shape the future of humanity, if at this point there is a future, based on all of the geoengineering and toxins that are being dropped on us, based on the increased frequencies that are artificial, that are slicing and dicing our DNAs. I know we spoke before, but everybody should go to antennasearch.com. Know where the cell phone towers and antennas are located in your neighborhood, and read Barry Trower's YouTubes. We've actually transcribed those on smartmetersmurder.com, so you can download those. Understand that this is microwaved radiation, and it has been weaponized. And you can confirm everything I'm saying by source documents, and I urge everybody, read these source documents on stopthecrime.net. First of all, I refer everybody to the Iron Mountain documentary, and I want to tell you, watch Soylent Green again, because I can say to you that the Iron Mountain report came out shortly after John F. Kennedy was assassinated, when Johnson was president. And it delineates the program that we're now seeing unfold. And there are many source documents that layer the program as we're seeing it expanded right now. But the Iron Mountain documentary is Soylent Green up until they start converting dead humans into food. But we have humans being converted into food right now through Cinemix, which we have on stopthecrime.net. You can download the flyer on that. It talks about how cells from aborted fetuses are used to create novel flavor enhancers.
Oh, God.
And so when we talk about the movie Soylent Green, what I want to point out, watch very carefully after you've watched the Iron Mountain documentary. It talks about mass pollution. It shows overpopulation. It shows big cities just turned into massive hellholes with pollution piled up. People, so many people that they're sleeping on stairwells. Watch this movie and pay close attention.
Yeah, you know what? The last time you were on, you put that message out, and I did watch that documentary. Unbelievable, Deborah. We'll talk more about this when we come back. Iron Mountain, and I also want to talk a little bit about how fast things are speeding up. You talked about it's time to be the media. It's funny. I did a video with that exact same message yesterday. So I think a lot of people in this community are like-minded, and we see what's coming. We're going to be right back in just a few minutes. Hang tight. Deborah Tavarres is our guest tonight at Wide Awake News Radio. I'm Charlie McGrath. Let's continue this conversation. Deborah, I know there's stuff that you have a lot of information you want to get out, and you always do when you're on. So I'm just going to turn it right back to you. Go.
Thank you so much, Charlie. Yeah, I wanted to just finish up real quick on what people need to note when they watch Soylent Green, because I want them to know that is happening now. We are in Soylent Green. That was predicted programming then. And again, go to the Cinemix flyer, print that down. We are eating aborted fetuses in many of the products that we're buying right now. And some of those products are PepsiCo products such as Pepsi and Mountain Dew and Aquafina, many juices and waters, crackers, chocolates, even pet food. So I can tell you, go and print down that flyer and start distributing it, and don't eat any of those foods at all, of course, because when you cannibalize, it increases your anger and your irritability. That's one of the consequences of eating your own. But in Soylent Green, it shows the overpopulation, the mass pollution, the settlement zones created in the polluted mega cities. There are no cars. All the vehicles are dismantled and just everywhere on the streets. High piles of trash. The rural lands are not accessible. Created false scarcity of water and food. People have limited water, just plastic bags full of water that they hope to have. Many people are dying on the streets. It's unbelievable. Curfews. The police are corrupt, and they have full jurisdiction over the people. And so this is a very, very important movie to watch of the predictive programming that we've been getting all along. Also, go and check out on cartoons the symbolism and the subliminals in cartoons. One of my favorite cartoons was Popeye, the Sailor Man. So type in Popeye subliminals. You will be amazed at the scare tactics to create fear for children, which of course debilitates their creativity because they're living in fear. For example, when you see Pluto heading angrily towards Popeye, he's walking by mountains, and the mountains, unless you slow the cartoon down, you don't see the villainous, evil faces in the mountains, and you do catch it on your subconscious level, but it's not something you see as you're watching these cartoons. We've been fed this all of our lives. I'm going to read an excerpt from a lecture in New York City in the winter of 1994. It said, therefore, 1995 will be the year where massive doses of electronic mind control programming, thought intrusion, and brain biogenetic manipulations will commence in large scale. These projects are no longer experimental. They are fully operational, and field testing is over. The whole arsenal of frequencies will be unloaded on the USA, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and Mexico as part of stage 1 of the first protocol, to include woodpecker, these are government programs, woodpecker, buzzsaw, videodrome, subliminals, sonic pulses, holograms, visions, voices, and strange psychokinetic phenomena. Beware of TVs, computers, movies, radios, and phones. Also books, magazines, even newspapers and other printed advertisements and posters will contain encrypted, hidden subliminal holograms. And in addition to the programming of commercial consumerism and marketing reason behind all the subliminals and electronically compressed information in movies and commercial television, Hollywood videos, radios, telephones, and now encrypted and printed matter affect the brain's neutral networks and functions through select frequencies and their harmonics to diminish our will, individuality, and creativity of the individual. Furthermore, the protocols included give the essence of the commands: obey the law, do not question authority, government is your God, and do as you are told. This causes utter confusion in individuals who don't know where these strange thoughts are coming from. So now you do. And this is what we must unplug from. This was one of the areas of solutions. We've got to unplug from this weaponized mind control.
And it's so hard to. It's almost. I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. And as you're talking, I went to Subliminal Popeye, and I'm checking some of this stuff out. And there's absolutely no doubt that, we just had somebody in the chat room when we started the program who was upset because we're talking about these topics again. See, and I think this is also part of the training mechanism or the apparatus that we get so used to having infotainment that the message you hear today is gone. It doesn't exist. It doesn't matter. It's not important by the end of the news cycle, right? So if you hear something that's horrific, like government control, government tyranny, that you're automatically programmed to move on to the next subject just because we've all been indoctrinated in this kind of news cycle.
Well, that's absolutely true, and we've got to pause, and everybody needs to ask themselves, how can I participate in informing other people? You may be hearing this again, and oftentimes that's a good thing because you'll hear it differently the second time, and it may impress enough upon you to start spreading it. Get those bumper stickers on your car, print down flyers on all our sites. You can use our flyers, download them for free. You can create your own. But if all of you that are listening are not taking more actions than you did yesterday, we're not doing enough. That's all I can say, because we're watching this increase exponentially.
Absolutely. I got a question for you from Meat Dog, and if I don't ask it, I'll forget to. The subliminals you're talking about, I got to scroll back up here. The subliminals, is she talking about voice or skull technology? Actually, they didn't say subliminal. Question: is she talking about voice or skull technology? And I'm assuming this is. I know you're talking about both.
Yes, I am. I can say to you, search exactly what you're doing right now, Charlie. People that are listening, search cartoon subliminals, and you'll see subliminals in all the cartoons we love. In many of the Disney cartoons, they're in there. There's lots of sexual subliminals where sex is written out of clouds. This is all according to the source documents on StopTheCrime.net. For those of you that have not yet read NWO Exposed 1969, I urge you to. Everything that is happening to us is in that document. The demoralization.
Wait a minute, is that the Iron Mountain?
No, there's another source. There's a number of source documents. The
Okay.
Iron Mountain Blueprint for Tyranny, of course, is one of them. The Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars is a 41-page 1954 Bilderberg policy, and that is a must-read. People will realize that war was declared upon America in the 50s by the Illuminati. This has been a very long-waged, incremental saturation of every type of unbelievable technology to win our minds over, kill our spirits, and ultimately kill us in the process. And also the NWO plans exposed by an insider is another source document on our site. And then I know we've spoken before about the NASA war document.
Yeah.
That is becoming more relevant now every single day, because under that NASA war document, I have posted a book called Hidden Gates, and I urge everybody to take a look at this document. It is talking about what the new definition for special education will look like for the future of our children. It will include the lack of parents who will not agree to allow their children to be enhanced genetically. That is going to be now also included in special ed, because they plan on genetically enhancing children. Because as you'll see in that NASA war document, they say that humans are too large and too heavy and too tender and too slow, and we cost too much, and we have decreasing value.
Yeah, we need to make it a more hardy herd, a more hardy stock to serve the elite. Deborah, hang tight. We're going to take our last break. We'll be right back. Deborah Tavarres, and we've had the links put in the chat room. We'll continue to put them in there. We'll be right back with Deborah. All right.
It is perfect. It's perfect.
All right, welcome back to Wide Awake News Radio. Deborah Tavarres' final segment of this hour. And guys, I know we're putting out tons of information, tons of sites, tons of links, and it is at times difficult to keep up when we're doing the shotgun approach. But listen, Karen keeps putting the links in there. Get to one of these sites. You go to any one of them, and you're there for the night, learning and enlightening yourself to what's really going on. I understand that there's a lot of things coming at you all at once here, but there's a lot of things going on all at once. And as I've been saying all week, I don't know if there's going to be another 2 years to keep coming on here and doing this, and I don't know if there's going to be another 2 months of keep coming on here. And there's the way things are going and the triggers that are being tripped. Deborah, who knows? I mean, you and I could be shut down and Gitmo'd and black bagged and done away with tomorrow. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Well, they promise that for people that don't agree to the New World Order. And it's up to everybody that's listening right now to really do a lot of homework. This is a crash course. You've got to get to the Cliff Notes. That's why on all of our websites, we put information in there that's quick and easy, source documents. We go right to the heart. So pick your topic, get involved, look at something and spend your time there. If this is too much to absorb, I understand that. But pick something and make that your passion to get the information out. Pick fluoride. Right now the United States is under a massive fluoride attack, for example. 70% of the U.S. is fluoridated now. And we're under attack here in Northern California. They want to fluoridate the entire water supply. And, in fact, California law requires that water companies that serve over 10,000 agencies must fluoridate the water supply. Pick a topic. Get on to fluoridation. Get on to the overhead spraying, whatever it is that you resonate with. But know who's doing this. And what we've done is on stopthecrime.net on the YouTube channel, we have a chart, a graph that will show you many of the government agencies and corporate entities that are aligned with the Bilderberg Group. And we also have a chart that shows the conspiracy to rule the world and how the order of the Illuminati is set up and all of the connections under that, the UN, the House of Rockefellers. We also have an excellent interview by Spali, an ex-Illuminati, woman, Svali. I would urge you to listen to her interview as an ex-Illuminati. She goes over what it's like to be in the Illuminati family, and she talks about where
Deborah, what's her name?
Svali, Svali, and we have her interview up on stopthecrime.net. She hasn't done a lot of interviews, obviously, for safety purposes, but it's a very, very interesting interview talking about the 10 houses of Illuminati in Europe and how they looked at the United States as a mission to conquer. And they set up originally in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And they're also in Alexandria, Virginia, in San Diego, and in Portland, Oregon. But they are everywhere. She said they are 1% of the American population. That is why we see Agenda 21 wrapping around all of us in each of our cities and communities. And it's a massive plot. I've just discovered Code America. It's a computer app that's going to be given to each city so that each city can track each individual property and determine whether that property is being kept up to the new Obama health care requirements of a healthy house. If your house needs painting or has roof repair requirements or plumbing, they will have stakeholders that will come out, inspect your property, and cite you for any infringement on your health because they want you to be productive and in the workforce. And they say that you spend a large percentage of your time in unhealthy homes. So this is kind of the latest thing. So there's just a lot. How the mind control is affecting all of us. But understand, this is a total takedown of everything we've known. And this system recognizes no limits of its authority. It's forced control over every aspect of our lives, both public and private. And it has no regards for morality or life itself. We are in a battle for life itself. So pick a topic, get on board, get the word out, and that is the best way in which to become active and become an activist in getting this information out. We can't sit quiet. We've got to get this information out.
Well, yeah, and you know, if you were to ask my opinion, and people have, and I've said that there's no stopping this. I mean, there's no turning the corner and riding the ship back to some glorious time of yesteryear where we have representative government. Deborah, I believe there's a fight coming, and you're either going to understand that or you're not going to understand that and be blindsided. But you know, I think the true crisis is the real crisis for humanity is before us. And you know, a lot of people have sat back and said, well, you know, things have been like this before, and it's been bad before, and we've had depressions before, and economic problems before, and a tyrannical government. But you know what? I look, nothing is blatant as far as global governance has ever been in play like it is right now.
That's exactly right. And during the Great Depression, we had industry to fall back on and pull us out of it. We've been gutted. We've been absolutely gutted. All our industry, which inventions go out the door too. When you don't have industry, they're collapsing our jobs. We are just going to be a service nation only as we continue to fall into the abyss. Jobs are not coming back, and the jobless rates will continue to escalate. People will live with less as they're being charged higher taxes. In Los Angeles, for example, they just are in the process of creating a tax to clean up the beaches because they say because of water runoff, which pollutes the beaches ultimately from all the properties, it needs to be cleaned up. So they're charging all properties this cleanup fee for polluting the beaches, which they're polluting. This is intentional mass pollution. To increase taxes, cause us illnesses, and blame it all on us and come back with the remedy. This is how these inbreds Illuminati work. They create the problem, create the fear, and come back with just as deadly a solution.
Or even more so,
Absolutely.
But I do believe one of the plans, the establishment plans, the agenda, is to let us rip each other apart. And guys, wait for 6 hours and then go find out what's happening in Cyprus. I think you're going to see people freaking out in the streets. I think you're going to see violence, and I believe that the overall plan, part of that, they understand what's going to happen is as we continue down this road, people are going to wake up, not because they paid attention to independent media, but because they've been robbed or they've been made ill or they're being directly affected by this new world order, and they're going to start pushing back. You know what? That isn't even a question.
Well, Charlie, we're a global community, and we have to stand together. That's the only way we're going to have any hope. If there is any hope, we have to come together. We cannot continue to allow them to cause the friction between us on all levels: race, religion, wealth, status, where we live, all of these things. We can't allow them. They are intentionally subdividing us so that we then fight among one another. This is their game. That's what the Silent Weapons Quiet Wars document says on stopthecrime.net. A 41-page read. Everybody, please read it. Understand their game so that you can pull out of it, so that you're not part of it. We need a revelation, not a revolution. They would love nothing more than to see us take each other out. And some good movies to watch would be Cabin in the Woods. That's an illustration of how the computer game upon us is going to work. This is a huge, driven by computers and algorithms. This is why the pace of this is quickening, because it's all based on computers.
Cabin in the Woods. I don't know if I what was that about? I don't know if I saw that or not.
Yeah,
is it a horror movie?
It's a new movie, and it shows how a control room of computer.
Oh yeah. Okay. And it was
control the people that end up in the cabin in the woods. And this is essentially what is happening to us right now. In fact, I just want to say that, again, as we were traveling not too long ago, a few days back, in the Wall Street Journal, the Saturday-Sunday edition, March the 23rd and the 24th, in the review section, they say the brains of the animal kingdom. And they say, who is smarter, a person or an ape? And they talk about how they're realizing that animals are far more intelligent than ever thought, and the elephants, etc. And what they're really doing is social engineering the idea, because, of course, they talk about fusing animals and humans. And when you look at the NASA document, and then you get into the Hidden Gates document, which is pretty deep for most people, but take a look at this. This is what they're doing. This is what cloning is all about. In the NASA War document, you will read about the spider goats. That's been done a long time ago, where they crossbreed a spider with a goat. You can just key in spider goats and read that. And
I got to see that now. Wait a minute. What? They crossbred a spider and a goat?
Yes, it's called spider goat, and it's in the NASA document. I had seen this piece about a year ago, and then I saw it in the NASA document. But it is a cross between a spider and a goat, and when you look at the goat, you think, oh my gosh, what is it going to look like? It looks like a regular goat, but the milking process of the goat and then taking that milk into a laboratory allows that milk to be spun into a material that is so strong, they're using it in the military. This is being done for military purposes.
I'm looking at a picture right now. I Googled spider goat.
Yeah.
I got a picture of a goat with 8 legs. It's a spider goat.
Well, I can just tell you that it's coming down. It's coming down. Educate yourselves. Do it quickly and tell your friends and get the word out.
Deborah Tavarres, give us the sites again, quick.
Stopthecrime.net, smartmetersmurder.com, toxicsky.org, and toxicdrinkingwater.org. New posts on toxic drinking water, some really great videos that you need to see and be able to take this information to your cities to stop the fluoridation. That's the big push now. They want all of America fluoridated so they can take us down with less of a fight, because we'll be just absolutely taken out of any ability to think.
All right. Thank you very much, Deborah Tavarres. We'll get you back on again next month. We'll be back in just a few minutes with Ellen Brown to talk. She wrote an outstanding piece about financial global governance. We'll be right back.